They would dip, and y'all are getting on my nerves. If anybody does podcasts and y'all are podcasters out there and you're listening, please let me know what's better than Anchor. And Anchor, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to trash you guys, but I am thinking of a new way. The new year is coming up.
Yep.
And it's time to start figuring out. It's not time to start. You're actually behind the 8 ball, but it's never too late. I like to look at stuff like that. About where to put this podcast, what needs to change on this podcast. The last few weeks, a lot of the changes that I talked about months ago have been happening. I've been having more guests on. I've been having more people on that I think can assist and give photographers resources, which is why you're here. Before we even get started, who are you? What's your name?
Look, I'm just listening, getting the sauce. That's all.
Absolutely. What is your name?
Yes, my name is Tiara Feyjoo.
Absolutely.
You already
Hand
know.
claps for her.
Yes.
Okay, and you're from?
I love it. The Ville, 26, Fayetteville.
Where J. Cole is from?
Period.
And Murray. How do y'all say his name?
Look, I'm laughing because it was always, that's where J. Cole's from. That's where J.
Yeah.
Look, now they saying Murray too.
Yeah. I like him.
Up. Look, we on the come up for sure. There is a lot of talent in Fayetteville, like a lot.
And a lot of gunshots.
Yeah, that too, but that's everywhere. I know it's here in Charlotte too.
I was in Fayetteville doing a photo shoot. Yeah. I was for a photo shoot. I couldn't remember if it was for a girl photo shoot. A little bit of both. The old me if my wife is listening. And so anyway, I was there and I was in the mall. I was walking around wasting time. And these two little young boys looked like they was about to get it in. And
Lord.
Only thing I remember at the mall was whoever it was for a photo shoot. And my client for the photo shoot said, keep your head on the swivel if you go to this mall. And I didn't realize it until I was leaving the mall. I was like, yo, this is the mall they was talking about. And so they let me know.
Horrible.
Fayetteville is not sweet. It's dangerous.
I hate that mall. Like, people who like to shop and dress that actually live in Fayetteville, they don't shop at that mall unless they have to. Like, they're going to go to Charlotte. They're going to go to Raleigh. They're going to go to Cary, Smithfield, somewhere. But they are not going to go to, no.
Fayetteville is dangerous. But I like it. It was.
Oh, my God.
Shout out to Murray, man. Let me take pictures of y'all. I like him. I like him a lot.
No, he's his whole album is fire.
Yeah, it is actually, and I like it. It's like a little bit of gospel, but a lot of street stuff, and it's real cool. So let's talk about how we met.
Yeah, let's do that.
So for y'all who don't know, shout out to all the photographers listening. If this is your first time listening, I want to welcome you. If this is your last time listening, at least you made it to the end of the year on this podcast, and F you. This is episode 109. I am your host, Gavin, and I have my friend here, a friend that I've met. I did a photo shoot call because I was doing a lot of maternity work, and sometimes when you're working with people, you need to be able to post and promote. And sometimes people don't give you sign off or they don't let you use their photos. The other times is sometimes you need models because they know what they're doing and it cuts down and we can accomplish a lot. And it's kind of like, all right, I understand. So I'm doing all this maternity work. Shout out to all my moms. I love you all. And so then I have this grand idea, right? I'm like, I should do a maternity model call. And so I realized very quickly, it's not New York. It's not LA.
Nope.
And so for those who don't know what that means, it is not a lot of pregnant models here. And a lot of you agencies, especially you hood agencies, I'm going to start asking y'all that because I hate you all. But it was hard. Like I reached out to some people that was an agency. I'm like, hey, do you have any pregnant models? They were like, no. And I think it hit them, like, at least in Charlotte, like, wait a second, we do need pregnant models. And I was like, yo, this is tough. And so I put it on Facebook and it spread and it went crazy. And I'm like, okay, cool. But a lot of the moms didn't want to do what I wanted them to do. And shout out to all you moms who told me, like, oh, I don't feel comfortable doing this and that. And I'm with you. Don't do shit that you're uncomfortable with, because if I edit it, I can see it in the photo. And so anyway, I put it on Instagram thinking that, all right. And then I woke up the next day, I had too many DMs. I had too many people reaching out. And I was like, oh my gosh. Now I feel bad because some moms are looking at it like, oh, I'm about to get some free shoots. And then I had other moms was like, bruh, why you posting this now? And I didn't send you my deposit. I'm like, oh my gosh. So,
oh wow, for real?
yeah, I had a lot of that, but it was cool. A lot of them were laughing because I was telling them, I'm like, oh, well, if you want to, this is what I need. And they were like, nah. And
Yeah.
So anyway, make a long story short, I have this mom reach out to me. She's like, yo, but I'm in Fayetteville. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, do I want to take that 2.5 hour trip? I'm like, all right, we can make this happen. I was like, oh, we can meet. And then you hit me with, I can come to Charlotte. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then you want to do, and it was funny because we sat there, we talked for the longest. You beat me to the shoot.
Yeah,
Hand claps for the models that beat me to the shoot. This model, this mom model, look, I pull up, she's there, and I'm like, I ain't set up. I ain't got nothing ready. She hop at the car. I think you told me then you were having twins.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And I was just laughing because I'm like, all right, now I look unprofessional. She's not. Like, I'm not here when she gets here. You beat me here today.
Well, I thought you were there. You just didn't set up yet. So it was okay.
I was like,
look,
yo.
It was a confidence builder for me.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes I'd be late to certain stuff. So to be early was, it's a win-win. Look, I was early today too.
You beat me here today too. And
Amen.
I'm so happy that we was able to meet. We was able to shoot. Your work that we was able to accomplish was great. So let's do this. How long have you been modeling?
Oh, that question. It's a funny question because on and off since a teenager.
Okay.
But like I told you before, seriously, 2020, I really launched myself like January, like those first few weeks. I did a photo shoot and I realized, you know what, Tiara? You need to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And I was already working out hard. So I ended up losing a lot of weight after that. Like my confidence was just building, and me consistently posting a new photo shoot I did every month. People was hitting me up.
That's what's up.
The shoot.
Yeah. And look, I don't know if somebody tagged you or somebody sent you that post, but anyway, we worked. So let's do this. So tell me about, I would say, tell us about your worst photo shoot. I need to know this story. Or do you have one? Do you have a bad experience as modeling?
Yes. Look, I was trying to think, dang, I don't know what I'm going to tell him. No, I know exactly what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, gosh.
I want to say we talked about it before. I'm not sure. Maybe it was another time, but this time sucked for sure because, as a photographer, if you're going to pay a model to meet up and do a shoot, outside shoots are tricky, especially when it's hot outside.
Absolutely.
And we had to do it on a trail. So there's this trail in
Disgusting.
Fayetteville.
Disgusting.
Called the Cape Fear River Trail.
Disgusting.
And
I hate it already.
It's beautiful, but it's hot outside. Look, you don't like walking?
I don't like being hot. You know me, I don't sweat. I don't believe in sweating.
Oh my god.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So we walk. I'm not joking, like about a mile. Was it about a mile? It was about a mile. Get out there and the mosquitoes. Those mosquitoes.
Disgusting.
Why did I not bring off spray? Or
Nope.
he have off spray for me as courtesy.
Nope.
And I'm over here doing my best, posing, looking all Jurassic Parkish, Because that was the theme, Jurassic Park. I can't remember if it was Halloween or what. But anyways, he's having photographer issues. So this is probably something you know what I'm talking about, where he just couldn't get it the way he wanted to, the lighting or something. He forgot something or something like that. And I'm just like, bro, we just walked so-and-so. I'm over here giving you my all. I got bit up by mosquitoes and you over here getting
Disgusting.
angry, pissed off because you can't get the pictures you want. And obviously he's supposed to pay me for this shoot, right? So he's all angry and stuff, and he's like, no, it's not you, whatever. I'm like, well, I hope it's not me.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm over here doing my thing.
I'm doing my job.
Okay, and then we walk all the way back, complete silence. So awkward, right?
Yeah.
And look, walking, thank God I'm in shape. And we get to the end of the trail. I'm like, let me walk a little faster so I can catch up to him. Yeah. Because I'm behind him, I'm like, this man gonna pay me. Shoot. Yeah. What he thought this was. So basically, I walked up to him and said bye, and then pulled up my Cash App.
That's funny.
Got my money. But I shot with him multiple times before.
Yeah. Just this day, wasn't it?
And I'm not gonna mention names.
Yeah, you ain't got to.
Right. But I never really liked the pictures, but he was a cool dude. And it's money, you know what I'm saying? It's money, like it's business.
Sorry, I had to.
But after that time, we haven't, shot or anything like that. Did a shoot.
What is it like when all right. Sorry, I thought I was about to burp, and I might be.
Nope.
Excuse me. Told you I ain't bleeping shit out.
Got my water.
You get photos back. You don't like them.
Yeah.
What is that like? Like, do you feel compelled to tell the photographer, or do you feel like, nah, or what is it like?
No, that's a good question. I'm a very nice person, but I'm also
That
a businesswoman. I'm also a businesswoman, and I like to be professional. So this recent photo shoot I did with a really good friend of mine, like we're business partners now and everything. I kept it real with him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like, I love it, but it's the lighting for me.
Yeah.
And I had to keep it real.
Absolutely.
Because I care. And I want my pictures to be dope, and I don't want to just edit them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're supposed to already be edited, right? It's an issue when you post pictures that got sent to you from a photographer, and you have to edit them yourself.
Yeah,
too. That's an issue.
Absolutely. I had a girl. She just hit me up last week and asked me, could I edit another photographer's work? And I said no. I was like,
yeah, that's true.
I'm like, no, because I've had that done to me before, and I found it highly disrespectful. And then I told her, I was like, just write the photographer and be like, fix this. Because the girl, like, I give you, because the client who did it to me, I edited her work. She was cool with it, but she got she screenshotted the unedited ones and sent them off and had them edited. So, and she posted
what?
Yeah, she was real ghetto, and she posted the work, and I was like, that's not, first of all, I don't edit like that. And two, you didn't pay for that one. And so I wrote her, and she was like, oh, yeah. I just sent it out to an editor. And I'm like, you can't do that. First of all, it's copyright infringement. For anybody who's listening, don't understand that. Wow. And then she was so mad because she was so mad. And then she sent her man after me, like DMing me, talking spicy. And I was just like, bro, it's not.
Spicy, huh?
Yeah, I was like, bro, it's not that deep. And then because I contacted Instagram, it says copyright infringement. And they took it down. Like, don't play with me. I'm letting y'all know.
Was not playing.
Oh, yeah. I was like, bro. And then she was mad because she was like, I paid for it. And I'm like, you didn't. You paid for this many edits. And this is why in 2022, I will be having a contract with everybody. I've already started that process, and it's going to continue. That's good. But in that, she requested her money back. And from PayPal. And PayPal, I sent them all of ours. I screenshotted everything. Yeah. I screenshotted the DMs from her man. I screenshotted the DMs of what I sent to them. I screenshotted them the gallery, everything. And Instagram told her to F off. And so it was like, yo, keep it moving.
You literally had like a court case with Instagram.
Yeah, basically. And it was like
crazy.
But it was one of those things. So, and I guess with me, have I ever had somebody tell me they didn't like my edits? Absolutely. I always look at it like this. If you don't like my edits, if you don't like it enough where you feel like it's useless for you, I would love to know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I feel like I would love if people would do what you did with your friend. Yeah. Kept it real. Yeah. So now that your friend knows next time, all right, this is what I need to pay attention to.
Respect.
Absolutely.
Let me add something to that. People, especially, our generation, they have a problem with confrontation. Not everybody.
Absolutely.
Not everybody, because some people are a little too real.
I'm with you.
A little on the ratchet side, I got that in me sometimes too if it come out. But no, hey, I really like this. I like this, but can I share some of the things with you that I don't like? Is that okay? You ask somebody's permission, that makes things a little more calm and at ease. And then tell them what's real, and what you feel like could be better. What do you think about that? Yeah. And then they tell you, and then they fix it, and you good to go.
Yeah, and I would love, now if you're a client of mine and you start hitting me up like, hey, can you fix this? I'm going to be like, yes, I'm going to be nice. My goal is, we're going to talk about goals at the end, but my goal is to be nice, be nicer. 2022. All right.
You're not mean, but go ahead.
Ask around. So we got an interesting topic today. You are, what's the new word they use now? Mompreneur? Yes. Is that the word they're using? You are that. And let me tell you when I realized that.
Are you laughing at me?
Me and you shot, what, 3 weeks ago? No, it had to be like a month or two ago. Almost. Yeah. It was before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
All right.
So going on 2 months.
She shows up. And so I'm like, you good? Because she's getting out the car. And she was like, yeah, come here. So she's getting out the car. And she hands me one of the babies. She grabs the other baby. And so then let me tell y'all, throughout the shoot, she had me watching her girls. I think I had to feed one to make sure the bottle was in there.
Yeah.
It was the
Teamwork.
funniest. Look, it was teamwork, right? And so we sitting there, but it was cool because I realized then, of course, when I first met you, it was about modeling. Mm-hmm. And then I started seeing some of the other stuff that you were into in the finance industry and things of that nature. And then now we're turning around to looking at it and, we're going to talk about your other with the radio and everything that. But it was one of those things that I realized like, geez, mind y'all, I only have one kid. Mm-hmm. She had twins. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at it and I'm like, yo, she's really a mom working, grinding. But my thing for you is you have a older daughter, a few years older than your twins. And how do you manage making sure, especially with your oldest daughter, right? Mm-hmm. Who can pick up, and who really needs you there, having conversations, talking to her and helping her with things. How do you manage all that and still be able to do the things you do? Because it's not like you do one thing. You know what I'm saying? You're always moving. You're always grinding. How do you manage that work-life balance?
Yeah. No, it's that's the question right there. And to be 100% honest with you, first thing I'm going to say is definitely God. Please have a higher power, please. Because without that, I honestly don't even know where I'm trying to keep that part short. Like, none of it is possible. Mm-hmm. None of it's real. None of it's here. It's definitely His grace. By the way, Absolutely. My twins' names are Faith and Grace.
Absolutely.
Because I had to have the faith that things are going to work out.
Yes.
And God's grace definitely stepped in. So that's why their names are Faith and Grace. They're about to be 5 months old.
Yes.
Yep. And my daughter, Nyla, she's 5 years old.
The chunky baby loves me the most.
Yeah. I forgot all about that. Yeah, one's chunky, one's skinny, one has a lot of hair, one doesn't. It's so funny. They're fraternal twins. But so that's the first thing, God, right? Mm-hmm. Second thing is I'm still figuring it out.
That is the joke about parenthood that nobody said. Like only parents know it. It's like when I have my son, I'm talking to all of these parents, right? Mm-hmm. And they go, "Oh, bro, you just got to freestyle it."
I like that.
So you figuring it out.
Yeah,
and you just
definitely.
making adjustments?
Just making adjustments, and every day doesn't look pretty. Some days I didn't give my older daughter, in my opinion, enough attention to where she got so bored. She was on her tablet most of the day.
Yeah.
Oops. But let's be real. Like, us parents are not perfect, and there's going to be days where things don't look as perfect as we would like them to. So, but there's no such thing as balance. I want to throw that out there.
Okay.
This is something I learned.
Talk to me.
Yes, there is no such thing as balance. It's only priorities. Priorities. Live your day by your priorities. So for me, God, family, legacy. Legacy has to do with business, my businesses, things like that, impacting other people, helping other people. Family has to do with me, my health, and obviously my family, right? My kids, stuff like that. And God is God, period. So you gotta, definitely. So 2022, I know we're going to talk about that, but it just came to my mind. Write these things down. You need to know your values. And write those things down and schedule it in your calendar. So, even if you don't go to church, you're definitely spending some fellowship on Sunday or something.
Some type of devotional.
Yep. And then daily devotionals, daily prayers, fasting here, fasting there, whatever that looks like for you. And then family, like sitting down with my daughter at the table to do her homework, talking to her, things like that. That's something I'm definitely working on. Because with the twins, sheesh, twins, that's a whole nother story, y'all.
I believe it because I have one, and I'm like, I shot you and a mom. I shot maybe a week after you. Mm-hmm. She had twin boys. And,
really? Wow.
And I think I was texting her, because her boys, like I said, they were right after you. And I was texting her when my son got here. I was like, y'all, I don't know how y'all do this. Because you know what?
Very tough.
I like what you said there because life is all about like figuring out what's important and handling that and making sure your time goes to that. I feel like as an entrepreneur, So I'm speaking about you talking about priorities, because I feel like as an entrepreneur, where once this became a full-time gig for me, and then once I had my son, it was like, all right, my time is so valuable. What needs me now?
Yep.
Give you an example. I wake up this morning and my son, we get the bottle, so he's sitting in the bed. I'm like, all right, bro, let's go in the other room. I'm trying to edit. He's not letting me edit. Like, he's staring, he's whining, he's moving. He's not a crybaby. He's just moving. He's a baby. He's 4 months, right?
Yep.
And so you know what that means. So I don't have to explain. And so that's the cool part about talking to other parents. They already know. I don't have to explain that he's not crying. He's just a baby. And so it gets there, and I'm like, all right, what do I need to work on now? Because I have edits I need to do. I need to send out contracts. I need to send out emails. For those who not know, please check it out. I'm taking over the Light Factory's Instagram currently this week. I get more into that later. But I need to post on there. I got to post us on there today. And so it's just cool doing that. But I'm like, what's important now? Because I had to learn how to prioritize with him. Make sure I get that time in at home with my wife, making sure that I actually do get people's work back in time, keeping me a little list. That's what I've noticed what's helped me as a parent. But you know what I'm saying? You talked about a calendar. I remember before I had little man, I had a girl, another client of mine. She has, at that time, she had like a 14-month-old and a 1-month-old. 1 month. Like she back to backed it. Ooh. And she said, before you have a kid, get you a Google Calendar. She said, share it with mom. Don't play.
How do you do it without a calendar? For everyone that's listening,
I don't know.
Can you DM me and explain to me how you have a successful entrepreneur, mompreneur, dadpreneur life without a calendar?
That is stressful. Make sense to me. Today, I asked my wife I was like, I asked her 5 times within an hour, what time is her chiropractor coming by the house? Because I'm like, she was like, yo, it's in the calendar. Every time.
It's in the calendar. I love it.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you know what? I'm going to say something really quick.
Go
I
ahead,
read this
do
in
your
the book. So in your head, right? Like this right here is not a storage bin for you to just store like calendar stuff and I got to do this here, I got to do this then. That's what we have a phone for, a calendar for, a to-do list for. This is your creative space. This is your, ideas and stuff like that, thoughts, if you're tracking what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do not use your brain as a storage bin. That's all I'm saying. Use your tools.
I like that.
Use your tools.
One thing that helped me, I went to Home Depot and they sell it's 4 foot by 8 foot. It's called whiteboard.
Yes, I love it.
And it's a dry erase board. For those that I know, literally, it's 4 feet by 8 feet.
He gave us the dimensions.
Literally.
Like, I'm like,
The reason I'm telling y'all that is because you go there. If you get a 4 by 5 foot dry erase board off of Amazon, it's like $80, right?
Oh, God.
You can go get you a 4 foot by 8 foot dry erase board. It's called a whiteboard, but it's legit a dry erase board. At Home Depot, it's $17, and you can get them to cut it any size you want. So I went to Home Depot a month ago. I got the 4x8. I had them to cut it. They had to cut it in 4 pieces so I can get it in the car. And then
really?
The dude was like, I had him to cut it twice. He's like, you sure you don't want me to cut it no more? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. I got to the car. None of it fit. And I came back in. And he's laughing. He's like, bro, just give it back. And so he cut it again for me. And $17. And I covered one whole wall in my house pretty much in dry erase board. And
I like that.
And so I have everything. One dry erase board is for the studio time, the studio rentals that I have, right? Another one is client work where I'm at. Another one is my projections of what I want to do next year and what I need to do. So it's something cool that I don't know. I used to be the king of I remember everything. And I have a great memory.
Y'all man good for that.
Yeah. Look, only the women got to deal with pregnancy brain after the baby. But hearing that, I realized once the baby got here, I can't use this as storage because you forget so freaking
sleep
much.
Deprived and all. No, sir.
Nobody want to talk about not going to sleep.
No, but thank you for saying that, because I'm going
Go
to do
ahead.
that. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Go to Home Depot. It's $17.
So
you can
excited.
literally get them to cut it any size you want.
Yeah.
Any size you want. All right. So you have a show coming out.
Yes.
Talk to me about it. Tell me the name.
Yes.
Tell me what it's going to be about, and we're going to keep going.
Yeah. It is called Finally Feyjoo. Every Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. You can even access it on Apple Music, soon to be on YouTube as well. But I would say the main thing is iHeartRadio for sure. Finally Feyjoo, okay? And it's hosted by WDRB Media here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Love y'all. Shout out to y'all. Period. With a T. And my show is about education and motivation on being a mother. So, you know, some of the stuff that we're hitting on now, being a parent, period, is definitely going to speak to you. Everything from postpartum to your day-to-day, all that. And on top of that, we're going to be talking about the market because, you know, I trade in the market.
She does.
All the way from cryptos, metaverse, NFTs, to foreign exchange, trading on a daily basis, scalping, intraday, whatever. And I also host twerkout classes.
Okay.
Twerkout fitness.
Twerk. She does.
Twerkout 26 in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So creative ways to work out, you know, stuff like that as well. And last but not least, definitely having a relationship with your creator. Like I said, you got to have that higher power. So it's very versatile because I'm a very versatile individual.
She is. If you follow her, you will be confused, but you'll realize.
You'll be confused. I am weak.
But within like,
That was a good one.
within a week, you'll understand everything that she does. Because when I first started following you,
You was confused.
yeah, well, I saw the modeling first. Because we talked about that off air. That's what I found first. And then I get on there, I'm like, she's trading. Okay, cool. And then I think you had the dance classes on there. So I'm like, yo, what
What
going
did she
on?
do? Like, did she
And
do
then,
this or did she do that?
And then we shoot the first time, and we was talking about God, and we was talking about. I'm like, yo, I'm so confused on what. And then it hit me. I'm like, she's kind of like me. I don't be twerking out there, but that's not the point. The point is, it's a lot of stuff. You know what it is? You like to do so much, and it ain't like you learn how to prioritize those things. Like, you know what's super important, what needs more of your attention.
Yeah.
What is because some of those things that you name might be a hobby for you, but some of those things you might have named might be like my full-time gig or my priority, things of that nature. So like this is a full-time gig I was telling you off air, but it's still a hobby. It gets me a break away from photography, things of that nature. Quick question first. All right. This is for the dads.
Okay.
How can they, what do they need to know most about postpartum? And I'm gonna give you a little backstory.
Good question. I'm excited about this.
Let's do it like this. Give them one tip to help them dealing with the woman that's currently going through postpartum. And I'll give you a reason. Okay. Before my wife was pregnant, it was hard for me to understand postpartum.
Okay.
The only person I knew before that was pregnant that I was close to was my sister, but I wasn't around. I mean, I was around, but I wasn't there with her day and night dealing with it. Right. So a lot of things she was going through, she kept away and things of that nature. Right. So fast forward, so in between that, when I'm hearing postpartum, I'm not understanding what that really looks like, what that means. I'm seeing people throw out so many different things of, oh, she's going through postpartum. And men, sometimes we look at it and say it's a joke. Or
I hate that.
Yeah, and it's really because I get
it's real though. I appreciate the honesty, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Like when Aisha Curry, when Aisha was out here talking about she wanted me in her DMs telling her she looked good or whatever, and somebody threw out postpartum and she was like, yeah, that's what I was going through, and it was like, yo, what are we talking about? It was something that me and myself included was like, yo, what is she talking about? Whatever. And now you speed up, I have a child. And so I remember being in a hospital scared because the doctor comes in and asks my wife, how are you doing?
Yeah.
My wife was like, oh, I'm all right. She said, no, what does that mean? She's asking questions. And I'm like, yo, she said she all right.
Yeah.
Not knowing, I know what my wife means by I'm all right.
Yeah.
She's sleepy. She was like, you know, her body's going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It just went through a shocking, traumatic experience. Now we're
yeah.
here. And then speed up. The doctor goes, you're not thinking about hurting yourself for the baby, right? And I'm like, what in the hell is going on, right? And I was just shook. I was like, yo, what is going on?
Laugh, but you know, you're just like,
absolutely.
What? Like,
because I don't
it's
know.
Real. Yeah.
Now, my wife, who's been reading stuff, knows that those questions are asked because of postpartum. And now you go through it. Now, you know, my baby is 4 months, but you know, my wife still goes through certain emotions, things of that nature that I'm starting to learn. So my question to you, what, because this is what your show is going to be about other things as well, but what tip can you give men to dealing with a woman with postpartum?
Please respect them. Do your best to not disrespect in any type of way. I'm trying to think of the best way because it's all in my mind. I want to put it out there. But I feel like respect is definitely a big thing because the littlest things of disrespect can really it's like triggers, you know?
Okay.
And when she's going through postpartum depression, those triggers can cause her emotions to be heightened and to cry and to take things as a bigger deal than it usually would because she's going through postpartum. And help her. Don't just let her do everything with the baby. Be there. Be the dad. A dad is not just somebody who provides financially. A dad is a parent too. So be there for the baby too. Give her some breaks. You know? Do some things with her.
Okay.
Spend some time with her. Like, y'all didn't have a baby so y'all could co-parent.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from my heart now, and not even trying to be funny.
I was looking for the gunshot. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, like y'all did not have a baby to co-parent. Y'all had a baby to be addition to the family. Now, there's different situations, married or not, whatever, absolutely. Blah, blah, blah. My situation, I'm engaged.
Yeah.
So, but
understand.
We hanged out before, so let's keep hanging out and let's hang out with the baby, you know? So keep your priorities in line, things like that. So when you think about her, still look at her the same, but care to her. Be her caretaker because she's going through a lot too.
Yeah.
Period. And I was going to say something else, but I lost it. But yeah.
Listen to the show to get more. Nah, right. I think all of that is that's really good. We had last week we had a therapist on.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Call her sexy. Say she still look good. Yeah, she got a little
tummy now. All right, Aisha Curry.
She might got a little tummy now, but it's going to go away. Give her at least, or at the most, whatever, a year. Because really, it takes a year for the body to go back to all the way. That's something, personally, you know, for all my listeners that I'm dealing with right now. I modeled, right, all 2020. And I was like 155, 154 with a lot of muscle mass. And I loved my body. Like, I ain't had the booty I want yet. But I loved my body, you know. And now I wasn't expecting to have twins, long story short, and now I have these twins, and I'm like almost like 180 right now. I got some booty right now, but I'm like, how am I gonna lose this waist? Like, but I have to be patient with myself, and I gotta remind myself I had twins. I didn't just have one baby, so it takes time, you know.
You sat on the floor during our shoot.
I sure did.
Let me tell y'all something. Your babies were kicking.
And
you was like, I'm sorry, Gavin. And you just plopped on the floor. You was like, I need to sit down. I was like, yo, take your time.
Hurting. That was a tough pregnancy, man. That's a whole nother story, but that was a tough pregnancy.
Look, and I wish, I've had this on my heart. I don't had it on my heart. Don't know if I have the time. I would love to have I'm a New Dad podcast. Because I think
that's nice.
Because as men, nobody talks to us. Nobody besides my sister. My sister, shout out to Sari. I want to say them two. And of course, all the moms I spoke to before. But mind you, I don't know y'all, right? But I want to say my sister, Sari, and it might have been like one other person. And if I'm forgetting you, I'm sorry. Nobody else came to talk to me about postpartum, like separately.
Yeah.
And shout out to those two ladies because they literally, especially my sister, she came to me. She was like, look, you need to listen. And she was like, look, I'm not coming here to make jokes with you. I'm coming to you as somebody real.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for this.
Yeah.
Because And other than that, dads were coming up to me saying, hey man, this is what you're going to deal with. And I guess some of those things, I felt like men didn't even know how to put it in terms of, hey, this is what you're going to have to deal with postpartum with your lady. And I feel like, me as a new dad, when it came down to it, I felt like I had this thing I said to my wife throughout the process, and I still say it today. I'm like, please let me know. And I know, as women, sometimes it's hard for you ladies to explain or express, especially when you're going through that. But I'm still on her about it. I'm like, please talk to me. Yeah. I don't care if it takes us an hour to get to the issue, but if you start talking, then we can start explaining, and then I can be able to listen and figure out like, all right, this is how I can help you. Because for me, I want to know how I can help, because I don't want to be that guy that's like, yo, my wife or my girl or the mother of my child is going through postpartum, and I'm just sitting there like, all right, I got to go play my game right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, I was just thinking about y'all men and y'all video games.
Look, that is an escape.
I know it is.
Because you don't want to go out.
That's good. That's the same thing with my fiance. He doesn't go out like that either. But
she made me get a sofa like this, and it's cut in half. She made me get his shoes like, so he can sit right there when you want to play this game. I ain't played that game since he got here. But it's not real. Yeah, I ain't played this. I ain't got time. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. You on your grind. But dang, what was I about to say? Okay, so
we was talking about communication and postpartum.
Yes, and but family. So when you were saying all that, I was thinking about how I had read this thing about couch time. My first child, right? My 5-year-old. I got corny with it, but I'm thankful I did, and read parenting books. I really did. Yeah. And I learned a lot.
Absolutely.
And one thing, it was a Christian parenting book too, for my beliefs, and it talked about priorities, God first, families, blah, blah, blah. When it came to the family part, remember I said in addition to the family, right? Yeah. So this is something that I'm working on right now with my family, my fiance and my daughters or whatever. Yeah. But couch time, so instead of asking that question all the time, hey, are you okay with your postpartum? How you feeling? It doesn't even have to be like that all the time. Sometimes, yeah. But if y'all have couch time, right? Yeah. On a daily basis or whatever, y'all are taking the time to talk about each other's day, how y'all feeling. True. Plans, whatever y'all like to talk about. Yeah. That time is prioritized and is getting done.
Absolutely.
So stuff like that.
That's good to hear. We might look. If I ever start a dad podcast, I'm gonna bring you on just so you can talk to some dads, because it's when you go through these changes and you are an entrepreneur. And shout out to the photographers. Shout out to the moms that are also photographers. I understand why y'all take breaks. I understand why y'all get low on social media and nobody can find y'all. Only y'all clients can find y'all because it's something real. And going back to confrontation, you speaking of earlier, a lot of stuff can be eliminated through communication. Proper. Yeah. Proper communication can, and I don't want to say eliminate, I guess I want to say fix a lot of things, assist through a lot of things.
And verbal, because they say 70% of communication is nonverbal. So if I'm seeing you do this all the time or whatever, and you ain't saying nothing, please don't allow me to assume. Yeah. Men. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes.
Y'all don't, I'm sorry, I'm calling
tough.
Y'all out, but
go ahead and call us out. Sometimes, because sometimes we just sit there and it's like, you don't know what to say. Hopefully my wife don't cuss me out. I grew up in a house where my people made me talk. Okay. Clearly I got a podcast, right? Right. So, but they made me talk. They made me talk about certain emotions. My wife,
that's good.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're going to talk about this. We used to sit down once a week and we have a family meeting, so to speak, and we would have those conversations and what that looked like of, hey, nobody was getting in trouble that day is what my parents say, but hey, y'all explain what you're feeling, your emotions, what you're going through. We're going to explain to you why we did such and such, and we're going to talk it out, or we're just going to spend family time together. Right. Cool. Right. And now I'm used to that. My wife grew up differently from me, not saying that they didn't do all those things, but when you meet somebody and you have kids with somebody, sometimes it's hard to remember that, they spent the last 25, 30 years of doing whatever they did in their family, how they were raised. And it's a lot different for me. So now we're having those communications, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to say to you, because with me, I'm used to just like, yo, I feel this way, blah, blah, blah. Cool, let's keep it moving. But in her, she's like, okay, I hear you. I need a minute. Give me a break. You know what I'm saying? Give me a little space. Give me that energy. So, but yeah, I appreciate all that. So one more time before we go to the next thing, because I want to talk about goals and what you're planning on. It might, you know what? We'll do that at the end. What are you planning on doing next year? Like, give me some goals or what you want to accomplish next year.
I'm like, okay, so, you know, I want to strive in every area of my life, and I will strive in every area of my life because things are different. I'm 26 years old, excuse me, right now.
Working, grinding.
Yeah, mother of 3.
Yeah.
I've been doing entrepreneurship since I was 18 years old, even before I had a baby.
Yeah.
Any babies, right?
Yeah.
So it's like go, go, go. Like, this is go time now because in 4 years I'll be 30.
Yeah.
And wealth needs to be accomplished as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
And you think about it, times have changed, especially since the COVID. I don't mean to get off topic, but it's very...
We have no topics.
It's not easy. Easy is a bad word. It's very simple to become wealthy in this country.
Yeah.
Right now, within a short period of time.
Yeah,
it does not have to be 5 years. It doesn't even have to be 2 years. You can create wealth in a few months.
Yeah.
With God.
Yeah.
Being focused, have a plan, having that association, having the right tools and stuff like that to make it happen. Absolutely. And I definitely have a lot of tools in my hands right now.
Yeah.
And I just want everything to grow and flourish. So that's going to take me definitely growing my relationship with God a little bit more. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, I want to be a better mom. Like I was saying, there's some things I'm still trying to figure out with having twins now and having an older daughter. So I know my older daughter, I got a lot more grinding and work to do because she's at that age now where she could definitely talk back.
Yeah.
Roll her eyes, do what she want to do.
She was nice to me, y'all.
I'm trying not to get the belt out.
So I don't believe nothing she's saying because her daughter was super sweet to me.
Look, she put a little frown. No, she's a good girl. She's a very good girl.
Yeah.
And it's because, you know, I guess I raised her well, right?
Absolutely.
But definitely some stuff we got to work on. And I take full responsibility for that. When it comes to parenting, y'all.
You freestyle.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if your kids are bad, like you said all the time, oh, my kid's bad, that's your fault.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
It's not. It's like, what are you allowing to go down? But whatever.
And it's really bad to say that too, because you're speaking that into existence. I'm
Absolutely.
a big believer of that.
Like, I used to say that all the time about my nephew, and then I used to have to look at people like, I'm just joking. My nephew's the sweetest little kid ever. Like, he's cool, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes I gotta check his ass.
You got to. I'm trying to avoid the belt. Just use my hand.
I'm like, bro, what? Sometimes I'll be looking at my nephew like, bro, what you doing, man?
How old is he?
He's 8.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes he tries my sister. And I'm like, one time I told him it was maybe a year ago, and I just remember because it was so funny. And I told him his mom was going to the car. I said, yo, come here. He's like, what's up? I said, if I was you, I would chill out. I said, because your mom probably about 2 tones, 2 octaves. She probably about 2 little mishaps from you away from like chopping you in the neck. And he was like, huh? And I was like, I'm just giving you a heads up. Like, I know. And I told him straight up, I said, I've known your mom longer than you.
Right.
She's getting close to being ready to be like, ready to chop you in the neck. And he was just like, all right. And then later, I talked to my sister the next day. She was like, yo, I had to chop him in the neck. Whatever she did, she was like, yo, he did such a... And I laughed, and I was like, put him on the phone. I was like, bro, didn't I tell you yesterday? My sister laughed so hard. She was like, you warned him? I'm like, absolutely.
Look, he had to find out for his own.
Yeah, sometimes you got to find out for your own. We're not ending, but the thing is, this may be literally, because it's Tuesday, I don't see myself coming in here on Thursday. I doubt it. This may be the last pod of the year.
Well, amen to that.
And if it is, I want to thank everybody for listening. Because this year, I think 2020, first of all, 2020 and 2021, they might as well have ran together. Just with COVID,
you're right though. You're right. You're very much right.
And it's really just because it was like so much happened in one little time. You know what I'm saying? But
that's a fact.
It was a lot to be here this year, and like, you know, gotta be grateful, gotta be thankful to make it this far. I hope everybody, if this is the last pod, I might do a little short pod. It ain't gonna be no video. So I hope if I do something, it's gonna only be audio. But the point is, I think everybody needs to be thankful for where they're at. Mm-hmm. And I
Gratitude.
and I hope everybody can be able to look back at the top of the year and say, yo, I'm not there. Mm-hmm. And at least I'm here. Mm-hmm. And because, that's good. Last week we was talking about it, and I love the response I've gotten. A lot of people compare themselves to other entrepreneurs, and that sucks.
Yeah. No.
And the thing is, it's harder to do. It's harder to say like don't compare than it is actually doing, because it's you're starting your radio show. You're gonna see other people that might talk about something similar, or you might say like, oh, this person's on the same station. I wonder how their numbers are looking. I wonder where we're ranking at. I listen to tons of photography podcasts. Y'all not talking about nothing, but that's not the point. The point is this. I listen, and sometimes I did something to be funny. Not to be funny. I did it for research. I typed in photography podcasts on Spotify, and I was like in the top 40.
Amen.
But I was mad because I'm like, yo, why do I got to keep scrolling? And I'm scrolling and I'm realizing I'm following other podcasts. I'm looking at all these other podcasts. They got 500 episodes. Okay, cool. These people have this, they put money in certain places. You don't know. Sometimes you don't know what other people are struggling with or what they've done to get where they're at.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when you're comparing your journey to their journey, you don't see the bigger picture. You're not going to see the full picture because you missed it. So I hope everybody like next year don't compare themselves, but just understand your journey is your journey. You got to embrace it.
No, that's good.
Because it's tough. It's like,
it's a thief of all joy, comparison to other people.
Absolutely. Like, it's tough. Like, I remember being a photographer looking at other people, and I still do. But like, it don't bother me now. Sometimes
be inspired.
Absolutely. That is the key right there. Before I was like envious and like jealous. I'm like, yo, how, why?
Yeah.
Now I've done
that before.
Yeah.
And Instagram does that to you.
You got to get off of this sometimes. Sometimes you got to get off.
Because it goes into that comparison.
Yeah.
Thief of all joy. You got to be inspired. And how do you expect people to be happy for you if you're not happy for anybody? You got to be happy for other people. Watch God bless you.
Yeah. It's tough because I used to look at, like I was saying, I used to look at somebody work. I'm like, how bro get this opportunity? You know what I'm saying? And then
you just don't know though,
Yeah, I don't know what he or she went through to get there. I don't know what God put on their plate. I don't know what somebody put in front of them. I don't know. I had a photographer one time. He reached out to me because me and him, photography beef is fake. You understand?
Fake.
It's the worst. And me and him weren't talking for a while. And he finally hit me up, and me and him talked for like an hour, and he said, I was mad at you this whole time because I felt like you was taking money out of my pocket with people that you was working with. And I was like, okay. He was like, then I figured out you was working with them for something totally different from what I was doing. And you wasn't taking money out of my pocket. You was just trying to do something to build yourself up. And I was like, I don't shoot with people to take money out of nobody's pocket. I'm like, that's something totally different. He's like, he said, first of all, I didn't know that. He said, second of all, I realized it was never my business. And he was like, I need to apologize for that. And I was like, cool. Still don't talk to him because I ain't trust you no more after that. But that's not the point. But I mean, it's cool. Like, I see him, dap each other up, keep it moving. But for me, it was like eye-opening because sometimes it taught me a lesson. I was like, I never want to be that person. So now when I see other people working with other people, I keep it moving. I just I see it, I understand it, I accept it. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what journey they're on, but it ain't my journey. So I'm gonna keep it moving. Before we close out, we have an Expose Yourself notebook question. You got to open a notebook, the blue notebook.
Sure.
You got to read a question. Sure. And you have to put a question in there. You're going to do that.
I got to put a question? Okay.
Yeah, you get to do it right now. I'm gonna stall for you right quick.
Bet. Okay. And I have a question too. If that's
go ahead. Talk to me.
Well, I wanted to add something because I know who's listening, right? And
Go
this
ahead.
is something I recently learned.
Okay.
Because I have multiple kids now. So if there's a photographer, a model, or someone who has multiple kids or multiple businesses, stuff like that going on, this is the tip I want to give.
Go ahead.
Because I know it's going to speak to somebody. Definitely would speak to me if I was the other way around. Basically, if you're a doer, like a go-getter, a doer. I consider myself that person. Like, you're excited about the work. I want to say 99% of people who are listening to this podcast are excited about their work. Like,
absolutely.
Like a photographer, you're not a photographer. Yeah. You're a photographer because you like it. Like, you like doing the work. You like doing the shoots. You like doing all that stuff, right? The creative stuff. You love all that. And sometimes we can overdo it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we can overdo it to where those priorities, right?
Yep.
They get overstepped because we're too busy. So like I said, God, family, business for me, right? Legacy. Mm-hmm. If I'm putting because there was times where I was creating too much content for this business. I was doing too much of the work that it takes to build my business to where I didn't really spend too much time with my kids.
Yeah.
I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And that easily happens. And you know what else happens?
What's that?
You get, what's the word? Not wore out. That's not the word.
Burnt out.
Burnt out. Thank you.
Yeah.
You get burnt out. With
Absolutely.
The twins, like I kept getting burnt out when I was doing the work. I kept getting burnt out. I'm like, what the heck? How do I avoid this? How do I make this happen? I got to give myself an hour to do nothing.
Absolutely.
I scheduled an hour to do nothing, to either sleep, watch TV, or read a book.
Yeah. Sometimes,
so yeah,
getting burnt out is sad because you don't even realize what's happening. It's like getting burnt out is always like a slow paced thing. And by the time you realize it, but by the time you realize it, you hate what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
yep.
I was talking.
Rest is key.
Absolutely. Last episode, I was telling the therapist this off air, and I spoke a little bit about it on air. And I've talked about this in previous episodes before. I remember being online, and I was just like, I don't want to look at a camera. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to book. I didn't want to shoot with nobody. And it was because I was online. It was because I was like editing, eating, sleep, editing, eating. And I was just like, and I was doing work I didn't want to do, work I didn't like. And I was just so annoyed. And shout out to Ted Winbush. He is a dope photographer out in Arizona. He used to be in Charlotte. And I remember I DM'd him. Shout out to Lala Milan because I DM'd her. And I DM'd both of them and I told them what was going on. And they both told me two things. Mm-hmm. They said, get off social media. And they both, around the way, Lala said it directly. And Ted said it in a similar way. He said, you need to figure out who you are. And you got to always be that person. Mm. And they were like, you need to take a break. Mm-hmm. And Ted spoke directly to photography. He said, yo, don't pick up your camera for a week. Don't touch it. Don't use it. Don't edit nothing. He said, get off of it for a week. He said, bro, and definitely just stop being on social media.
Yep.
And it helped so much because then when I came back, it was like almost like, all right, now I want to do this.
Yep.
And then I realized like,
you
so now,
itching.
yeah, so like,
to go back.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, some of the photographers, if you're starting to get burnt out and you always working, up your prices. It get rid of some of those people who don't want to book you. Who maybe are taking you for granted, who's like, yo, if you up your prices, you get rid of some of those people. And the next thing you know, you'll give yourself more time and you still make the same amount of money. Just a little tip. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to let you go through this question. I didn't told her about the notebook. For those who do not know, this is an expose yourself notebook question where to leave a question, she has to ask her question. She did not read the notebook before we got started. So she doesn't know how ratchet and raunchy some of these questions are. And that's her fault. But she.
I should have. Oh snap!
Oh yeah. You're gonna see before you have to answer.
It was a rule, like you can't.
No. Most everybody does it before. For those who not know, there probably will be an audio podcast only at the end of the year. However, this is going to be our last video podcast. And with that, I do want to thank everybody for everything they done this year. For tuning in. For subscribing on YouTube, for being here on Instagram, for listening on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, whatever the case may be. And I want to thank y'all, but I want to let y'all know what we've been doing the last few weeks will continue into the next year. Having guests on, having people that can really speak directly to us that can help us. I know a lot of people today you're listening and you're hearing about, how you can balance your life or not even balance, but prioritize your life, as we like to put it, right? And we're going to keep that up. And I'm telling y'all, stick with the podcast. Share this with a friend. Share this with a mom today. Definitely. Share this with a dad. What I'm saying? Or a potential dad. or mom, whatever the case may be. But yeah.
So.
Oh, have you gonna read that question?
I don't know. It's the last. I pick a question.
Just go scroll through.
Okay. I thought it was like the last. Oh yeah, they
no.
got some raunchy stuff in here.
Yeah, look. Hold on. All right, we're back, guys. Before we get up out of here, while she's finding her question, I want everybody to do me a favor. If you're a photographer, please do me a solid. And if you're on Facebook, please check out No More Pie by Gavin B. It's our Facebook group only for photographers. It's super dope. We're leaving resources in there. You found your question?
I did.
Okay, cool. We have a lot of resources in there, a lot of information. It's really a real community to help photographers. And I want to thank everybody that's already in there. Shout out to the No More Pop family. Also, make sure you check out the website, paidexposurepodcast.com. But before we give out tags and everything else, what is your question? We both got to answer, by the way.
Oh, we do? Okay, That's dope. It's not raunchy or ratchet. Okay?
Whack.
I know.
Nah, that's cool. We need. What is it?
No, this is good because this is like into 2022.
Okay,
like,
let's hear it.
Kind of, in a way. You'll see why.
Okay.
But anyways, one thing you tell yourself at 17.
One thing I tell myself at 17. All right, you go. You gotta go first. You the guest.
I got you. Leave the F-boys alone.
Oh my gosh.
Leave the F-boys
Why not?
alone.
Y'all love them.
I know, right?
Y'all love them. I don't know why women love F-boys. Well, I mean, whatever.
It is so powerful when you see somebody who has everything. Like, think of that person you're inspired by.
Okay.
And they single.
Okay, so that's
But
you got to bring your mic in. They can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
So yeah, I might have just confused somebody if you did hear me. But I said it is so inspiring to see somebody that you look up to who is single and living a fruitful life. Like, you know they ain't no hoe.
Okay.
You know they ain't with the hoes.
Okay.
They're not worried about getting with somebody.
Okay.
They're just worried about doing their purpose and inspiring others.
Absolutely.
That is where you need to be at. At 17, I was worried about these boys. Honestly, before I had my twins, that's gonna be a whole nother story. So to shorten that up, I just got back engaged with him. But before that, I was single. I was a single mom. Yeah. And I was still worried about these boys. So for all my women that's listening, maybe this works for the men too. You could do that. But it's really not worth it, y'all. Especially our generation. It's horrible. Focus on retiring your parents. If you're 17 years old, 18 years old, 9, I don't even care if you're 25, 26, 27. Yeah. Focus on retiring your parents. Focus on, if you do have kids, focus on you being her, being him. Focus on that, and I would say you would attract the person that you're looking for. So that means a lot to me. I know that was short, but
that's important. If I could tell myself anything at 17, I would have asked myself, It's very similar to what you just said, so I don't want to seem like I'm biting.
No, you're good, because that's real.
It is real. Nobody at 17 asked me, what do you want to do at the end? Like, when you are done with everything, talking about when you retire, what job do you want to have then? Like, what is your dream job? And nobody said, all right, go figure out how to become that person or that situation, right? So I say that to say, at 17, I was getting ready to go to college and I didn't know what I wanted to study, right? And so, I just picked a major because I'm like, I like to talk to people. I want to be a counselor. Then I realized after one semester, and my teacher realized it, that's why he told me to change majors. Like, this ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Then I went and studied computers just to graduate to say, I'm never going to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And I was in college taking pictures. And the smarter thing would have been, did I know I wanted to be a photographer then? No, I knew I wanted to be over a business, and I knew, but I felt like when I got to college and I really knew what job I really wanted to do, I knew I wanted to work in HR, even though I never went to go do it, because once you get out of school and those responsibilities start coming, then your life adjusts. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what's most important and prioritize. That's what we talked about today. But and so it was something cool. I wish at 17, if I could go back at 17 and be like, yo, bruh, what do you want to do? All right, go be that or go do that if that's what you really want to do. And because at 17, I didn't really start like getting like girl lost until like maybe in the middle of college, and then it was like it was whatever.
I was grown. I was fast.
Oh my gosh. But it was cool. It was one of them.
Oh dang, microphone. I was grown. I was fast.
She repeated it so y'all could hear it. But it was one of those things where I was just like, I wish I would have known. You know what I'm saying? And it's just funny. And now I'm 32. If I could tell myself anything at 25, it would be like, yo, what's your purpose? Mm-hmm. I preach that now all the time on this podcast. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want entrepreneurs, especially photographers, to realize, like, yo, what is your purpose? Like, why are you taking pictures? Because if you just want to shoot people, I remember one time I asked a photographer.
That didn't sound right, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, photograph folks. I remember one time I had this dude was charging like $20 to take photos, and his work wasn't bad, and I'm like, yo, why are you shooting people for $20-$25? Like,
yeah, so I was like, okay.
He would charge $50, but nobody would book him, so he would just do, I'm doing a $25 special. Right now it's just $20. I'm like, bro, why are you doing this? You messing up the game. And I remember one time he wrote me, he said, because I want to. He's like, I don't shoot for money. He's like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Now, was he a D? Absolutely. He was an a-hole. I don't respect him. Like, I seen him out and I'm like, oh, I don't F with you. But it's on multiple things. But with that, I understood then that bruh knew his purpose of why he was shooting and why he was charging what he was charging. And I respected it. After that, I was like, y'all, I don't respect you cheapening the brand, but whatever. Do your thing. That's your purpose. I told you I had to learn later, like, everybody's journey ain't your journey.
That's right.
Cool.
And you can learn something from everybody.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at photographers like, why are you shooting? Like, why are you photographing? If you were working with her, why are you working with her or him? You know, if you're going to work with this model, why are you doing that? If you got this client, why? What are you trying to create for them, and figure that out? So, yeah. Before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you at, where they can follow you at. Give them the link to the shows, all of that. We're going to link it in the comments, but I still need you to say it.
Yes, I thought you never asked.
Come on.
But I got you. So, yep, it's Tiara Feyjoo, a.k.a. Miss Fayetteville, a.k.a. Trader Mom. You already know. And you can find me on Instagram at I am _Tiara, Tiara. Feyjoo, Feyjoo. That's F, like F is in Frank, because y'all be messing up my last name.
I ain't even try it. You couldn't get me.
Right. And Facebook, Tiara Feyjoo. You're going to find me because my last name is unique, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And, yeah,
the show.
Definitely tune into the radio broadcast every Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So it's live now?
5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So, okay, cool. So,
Fridays.
Can you go on Fridays? Can you go back and listen? Like, is it on the app like that? The only reason I'm saying, you might need to like save them so then you can like create them. So
that's the plan, y'all.
Cool.
That's definitely the plan, because I know everyone's not up at 5. And you know what's funny? It's a hot time. They told me.
Yeah.
5 a.m. and at midnight. Those are the two hot times.
Yeah.
And it's iHeartRadio. It's national, so people all over listen. Yeah. It's not just Eastern Standard Time, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I definitely plan on having content for you to access through my Instagram. I have a link tree. Yeah. You know, in my bio on Instagram.
Oh, perfect.
To where you can access everything. So definitely check me out. Let's network. You know, that's what it's all about. People helping people.
She is all about networking. I'm telling y'all. Look, I want to thank you for coming on. This is definitely the last video podcast. It might be the last podcast of this year because I ain't got time.
Right.
I got a kid at home.
I want to say thank you for having me on this show.
We've been talking about this for months.
And I want to shout you out for everything that you do. I think you do everything very professionally and very, like, in a way, effortlessly. Just us doing our photo shoot together, y'all. I'm over here pregnant with twins and naked. And I just met this man, and the most respectful man ever. Like, didn't feel uncomfortable at all. And in a good relationship, you know. It's awesome. You're awesome. This podcast is lit. Definitely stay in tune with this podcast.
Thank you.
Ain't much stuff out here, you know, that's like this. So I like it.
And all the moms who want to do, who are scared to be nude during their maternity shoot.
Dudes, he's okay.
Dudes can't see shit. You can't see nothing.
Bring your husband.
Bring your man. I had a look. She's gonna laugh when she sees this. I shot her mom one time, and she was nude. She wasn't planning on. No, she wanted to, and her man This dude was buff as shit. He came in, his gun was on his hip and everything. So bruh stood behind me the whole time. And it was so funny because whatever she was wearing at first, she had the wrong underwear on. And he leaned down. He was like, bruh, you want her to take them drawers off? I got you. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just know he had the gun on his hip. I'm like, nah, bruh, she good. She can keep her underwear. And then he made her take them off, which is so funny.
Press the button for that.
Look, I'm telling y'all, it was scary, but it was funny. But yes, it was funny.
Hilarious.
A lot of moms, you know what? Before we get out of here, it's funny though, but a lot of moms, they want to do certain things, whether it's in boudoir or maternity, and they're scared they're going to get judged by other women.
I had some backlash, not a lot, and I think it was more so people talking behind my back.
Yeah.
But I really don't care.
Yeah, and then, let me tell you this.
It was art. Even my mom and dad would look. My mom and dad. Right?
Oh gosh.
They were like, "Yeah, it was kind of shocking to see you naked, but it's art."
Yeah.
I had this one lady, Christian mentor of mine. She was like, my mother always, old school. So her mom, real old school. She was like, my mother always told me, if you see a naked woman, don't look at it. But I forgot what she said. But if this is wrong, then so be it, because this is art or something like that. I don't know. But,
it's funny. I did a wedding show one time, and I had my wedding boudoir section of my website there, and I remember this girl came up and she said, "Oh, you do boudoir?" And I said, "Yeah." And she clicked on it. She was like, "I've always wanted to do this." And her mom came up beside her and was like, "What are you doing? Turn that off." And mind you, it's my computer, by the way. And so she's like, "Mom, I really want to do this." And I just remember, and my
how
girl,
old was she?
She had to be in her 30s. Mind you, I'm like in my early 20s.
Oh,
but
Lord.
And I remember my girlfriend, who's now my wife, she was hosting this wedding venue thing, and she linked over. She said, "You should have seen all the moms look at her and be like, all the women in the room look at her and be like, what is she doing?" And I was like, yeah. And then so now, the first nude mom I ever did was my wife, and it was funny because my people hit me up. Her uncle, who's actually a photographer who listens to this podcast, he makes jokes to me all the time. He's like, "I saw my niece naked on Facebook." And he's making a joke, right? And what's funny is after I did that, I had so many moms hit me up. It's like, "I want to do this. Can I?" And so, of course, with those ladies, I don't share. That's why I put out there, and you saw what I was trying to do. And I was like, "Look, this is what I want to do. If you're not comfortable with it, we can either find out something else that you want to do, or we just don't have to do it." Yeah. And, and people love to talk behind people's back, but they don't. You know what I've realized is, and I don't want to seem like I'm attacking women, even though I just said women be having issues with this. A lot of times people are scared because it's something they've always might have thought about doing, and somebody shamed them, and then they're like, "All right, yeah, it must be wrong, or it could be wrong." But a lot of times when you talk to them, when I've talked to people, they like, it's cool. And then of course I get like the older woman who's like, "That was dope."
Yeah.
I love that.
What's your heart behind it? Like, I feel like with the pictures we did, right? For example, a lot of your pictures though, but let's just talk about ours. You could look at it and see the art.
Yeah.
You don't look at that and get, horny.
Yeah. Like, now I'm super aroused. Yeah. Nah. At least for me,
not at all. Not at all.
Reason I do it because sometimes when you look at a mom, and you doing maternity photos, a lot of things distract you from what we really supposed to be looking at. This extravagant outfit, this crazy backdrop of, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
so when we strip it all there and we really focused on what we looking at, we can't see your privates. Right. We forced to look at your stomach. We forced to look at you. We forced to looking at you embracing your stomach. Absolutely. And so that was, that was the reason why I have those. And now.
And that makes you stand out. Smart business too.
Look, thank you. And for me, what happened after that was I had tons of moms hit me up, was like, "Yo, I want this," because they've seen your photos. They've seen some other ladies' photos. Yeah. So many people send me, they don't even know she's my wife. They just they be like, "I love this." Yeah.
Because we feel like a whale. Yeah. All the time. So let me take some pictures like that so I don't feel like a dolphin.
And then some mom, like my sister hit me up, was like, "Oh, you didn't do this for my maternity shoot." I'm like, first of all, you my sister. Second of all, I was trash when you were pregnant, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But it's cool to be able to see these things and be like, all right, because then later, then you get I believe, and I don't know, but for me, it's like a cool opportunity to give moms that time to say, let me embrace my body. because I know I look good. And, then of course, they don't know that you kicked me out the room so that you can get undressed.
Right.
And then we go back in there and then you don't, we sit there for an hour. But it was cool. It was fun. But thank you. And thank you for that.
Yep.
Look, I want y'all to check out this episode. Make sure you share it. And we're going to holler at y'all next time. Look at you. Oh, my gosh.